At 21 years old, Jackie Chan was working on construction sites during the day and working in restaurants at night, living with his parents in Australia. It looked like his life would just pass by this way, making his ambition seem laughable. Jackie Chan was born in 1954 in the affluent area of Victoria Peak in Hong Kong. Although just in Nanny's room behind the grand house, his parents worked as a cook and a maid at the French consulate. At that time, his mother was already 40 years old and had to opt for a cesarean section. This required the couple to pay several hundred Hong Kong dollars, which they couldn't afford. A wealthy Caucasian lady offered to pay for the surgery and an additional 500 Hong Kong dollars in exchange for the custody of baby Jackie. Many poor Hong Kong families did this, not only for the money but also to ensure a prosperous future for their kids. Chan's father seriously considered this option, but eventually couldn't bear to do it, and borrowed money from his friends to keep his child. The family of three squeezed into a modest space of just a few square meters, surrounded by Caucasian children born with a silver spoon. Jackie, seen as a lower-class native, inevitably faced verbal abuse. However, he was not the one to take it in easily. With a naturally strong physique and some kung fu techniques taught by his father, he could easily handle children of his size.
永远给人打不能还手，到了后面我顶不住我就打人。
But sometimes, when things got to the parents, his father would first punish him, then take him to apologize humbly to the other families. In Hong Kong at that time, hitting Caucasian children was a big no-no, especially since his parents relied on others for their livelihood.
但我住这的地方就是美国领事馆、法国领事馆、英国领事馆都是领事馆的人。哦，那我永远是走后楼梯、后电梯，看见外国人走过，我要向边走。反正看见外国人就怕，在我眼睛里面，外国人是至高无上、最有钱的，船是很大的。
But generally, life before the age of 5 was happy. He played around freely and sometimes dated his little girlfriend, the daughter of his French employers. And he also picked up a little bit French.
Bonjour, ça va bien?
When he turned 5 and had to go to school, he hated it. He was hyperactive in class, never paid attention. He was often made to stand straight as a punishment, wearing aside saying his misdemeanors, sometimes just labeled useless. He even developed the skill to sleep while standing, the only thing he really learned at school. Such an unruly student was held back in the first grade, clearly not cut for academy life. His parents then arranged for him to drop out. At the same time, his father secured a job as a head chef in Australia and went ahead to settle things, leaving his wife and child temporarily in Hong Kong. So, what about his son's future? Friends gave a suggestion. And as Jackie Chan himself put it,
10 years of hell like training and life were about to begin.
In 1976, at the age of 22, Jackie Chan, who had already signed with his mentor, Lo Wei, officially began his journey as a leading actor. The company wanted to give him a brand new stage name and presented several options containing the Chinese character, Dragon. Initially, he chose cultural Dragon, trying to compensate for what he lacked in formal education. However, the company felt that culture was too small. His other choices like Cloud Dragon were considered not grand enough. So the company decisively chose Long for him, which means become dragon. He had seen this name earlier, but felt it was too imposing for his self-doubting nature. His lack of confidence was not without reason. Apart from his impressive physique, he felt that he had nothing else. No distinguished background, coming from a humble grassroots family. No good looks with his large nose and small eyes. The company even suggested he undergo plastic surgery. No good acting skills, His technique was somehow stiff around the age of 20. The beginning of his career as a leading actor was quite dismal. In New Fist of Fury, the company tried to mold him in style of Bruce Lee, stern, angry, and ruthless, which was completely against Chan's style. The film did not turn out well, and he overheard crew members saying, "Become dragon? Become my ass? What a waste of money. He will never be shit." These comments brought him to tears, and as expected, New Fist of Fury was a box office failure. Fortunately, Chan had signed a long-term contract, which meant he still had opportunities to play leading roles, although for a modest fee of 3,000 Hong Kong dollars per film, less than many others on set. His subsequent film, Shaolin Wooden Man, also performed poorly at the box office. During this period, Chan starred in films like Half a Love of Kung Fu, The Hands of Death, and Dragon Fist. These were mostly revenge-themed stories, which didn't align with Chan's style and lacked innovation, resulting in disappointing box office performances. He was even labeled as box office poison. Yes, Jackie Chan, box office poison. In 1977, the company was interested in adapting a novel by big author Gu Long and wanted to secure the rights for Chan to star in it. At the dinner, Gu Long, upon seeing Chan, bluntly stated, "My script isn't for him. With his big nose and small eyes, he can't act in my film." This comment nearly made Chan cry on sight. He held back his emotions and put his sorrow in drink, later crying bitterly in restroom, feeling like he would never succeed. Eventually, the company paid a substantial amount to secure the rights from Gu Long, who still insisted on casting the most popular and attractive female actress. This again was a blow to Chan, as the actress made exactly same comments about his nose and his eyes in a face-to-face conversation, leaving him feeling utterly dejected. After she left, Lo Wei, Chan's mentor, saw how sorry Jackie Chan looked, and then angrily told him, "What the fuck are you crying about? Fuck them all. Let me get somebody else to star with you." Lo Wei's support provided warmth and confidence to Chan during his lowest moments, keeping him in the film industry, though sadly, the mentor and protege later parted ways.
立關書人李玉蘭，自願將長子陳廣生年9歲投入於尖園門下為徒，學習離院生計，現明10年為滿，於期內所得錢銀盡歸於師傅收入，食宿衣履盡由於師傅負擔，無故禁止回家，中途不准退學。倘有天災病症，各安天命，私自逃走。 兩家尋找，頑劣不服，打死無論。年滿謝師，但憑天良，空口無憑，立志為證。立關書人李玉蘭畫押，1962年12月1日，吉利。
Given little Jackie's unruly behavior, enrolling him in the Chinese Traditional Drama Academy seemed the wise choice. The academy provided food and lodging, so at least he wouldn't starve to death, and it offered strict discipline and skill training. However, there was a significant drawback as outlined in the indenture agreement. Students couldn't drop out or escape for 10 years, and disobedience could lead to severe punishment, even death, which is why later he described this place as hell. The strict discipline began with his first beating in the academy, far more severe than any punishment from his father, bordering on a matter of life and death. Mistakes were met with cane beatings, and serious ones led to being locked up and beaten relentlessly. This harsh treatment pushed these little beasts to their physical limits, leaving footprints on the ceiling as they attempt to escape the beatings. The academy also mandated speaking Mandarin instead of Cantonese, the language used in Hong Kong. Otherwise, the master would do this to them. as they were training in Peking opera, which required precise Mandarin pronunciation. And also, Mandarin is the master's mother tongue. The traditional Chinese performing arts were considered a lowly profession, often pursued by children from poor backgrounds with limited prospects, embodying the saying, a worthless life. Humanitarian considerations were scarce in such a setting, hence the brutal terms of the indenture agreement. Jackie's mother, upon visiting and seeing the bruises on her young son's body during bad times, would cry, and little Jackie would console his mother instead. Eventually, she too moved to Australia, leaving him to endure the rigorous training alone. Poor families didn't have many choices. The academy's curriculum was traditional, with the philosophy that enduring extreme hardship was essential for success. Training started at 5 a.m. and continued to the night. The training would go on even when the kids were sick. The sick ones even got more training, avoiding any fake sickness. It's harsh, but effective. You will never know where the human limits are. The extreme regimen pushed Jackie to only feel ill once in 10 years. So did the other kids. The school also provided some education in classical Chinese literature, and only this. No math, no science, no English. And literature was not the focus. The kids did not pay attention to it either. So the students remained academically underdeveloped. Jackie later regretted his lack of formal education and somehow ashamed of it.
好慘㗎！我今日成30幾歲人，我仲要問人呢個係咩字？新婚快樂，快樂我識，新婚點寫我又唔識。我真係我覺得自己啲係好醜啊，所以我希望。
In the academy, respect for teachers was paramount, and disobedience was unthinkable, including defiance towards the senior students, who wielded considerable authorities. This senior student was Jackie's lifelong big brother, Hong Jinbao. Fights among the students were one-sided, with retaliation against the senior student forbidden and seen as a grave offense.
给洪金宝欺负，
给洪金宝欺负。对，你那时候打不过洪金宝吗？
打得过他也不能打啊，打他是叫做欺师灭祖。看见他我就没了，看见他我就啊，
到今天都这样吧？
到今天。
Hong once escaped the academy to avoid punishment, leading to another student, Yuan Hua, being punished for not reporting Hong's whereabouts. This is how their bond looks like, and they keep it to this day. They are more like siblings, and they helped each other in their careers. Yuan Hua, recognizable from the movie Kung Fu Hustle as the landlord, and the landlady is also part of the crew. They all grew up together as a part of the 7 Little Fortunes. This familiar environment instilled a strong sense of a brotherhood in Jackie. The training and punishments he endured in his youth prepared him physically and mentally for the extraordinary challenges he would later face in his career. After starring in several unsuccessful films, Jackie Chan's journey to stardom began with Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. The film's director, Yuan, was also a disciple of Yu Zhanyuan, like Chan. Yuan had already left the academy when Chan joined, and he had always been watching over his fellow disciple. Noticing Chan's performance in snake-style kung fu and his comedic talent in previous films, Yuan approached Chan to ask what he would do if he could lead a film project. This was the first time Chan was encouraged to express his own ideas. He said, "Everyone is trying to make another Bruce Lee, but that's impossible. He's a superhero. I should be an ordinary person. He doesn't feel pain when hit. I should make faces to show how much it hurts. I want to play underdog." This became Chan's consistent style. Jackie is smart and has his own ideas. One of the most talented artists in Hong Kong, Huang Zhan, once said that although Jackie never had much formal education, he is one of the smartest people he has ever seen. Jackie's thoughts on style coincided with Yuan's, and they incorporated comedy into the martial arts genre. Snake in the Eagle's Shadow was a sensation in Asia and marked the rapid rise of Chan's career. Seizing the momentum, Yuan and Chan, the master-disciple duo, collaborated again on Drunken Master, which was another blockbuster and even broke box office record in South Korea. From then on, Chan shed his label as a box office poison and entered an era where everything he touched turned gold. His benefactor, Lo Wei, offered him a new contract, raising his salary from 3,000 Hong Kong dollars to 50,000 per film. But it was just a start. These two films revealed Chan's potential to major studios, all eager to sign him. The first to approach was Golden Harvest, the studio that built Bruce Lee's fame. The boss of Golden Harvest met with Chan without much ado, stuffed a check into Jackie's pocket, urging him to join them. Jackie was astounded by the amount on check. During that era, a house cost just a few tens of thousands, and here he was looking at $1 million.
我去廁所咧，一打開啲支票，睇住個一跟住000，我真係醜啲嚟講，我過18千萬都唔識數啊！咁我就過18千萬10萬，1萬冇可能啊，係咪啊？1萬就冇可能，10萬已經不得了啦，10萬我揸住10萬，哇！我有10萬，有10萬啊！翻去馬上俾張支票阿陳志強睇，我話阿 Willie 你睇下 ，Willie 話你知唔知幾錢啊？唔知啊，100萬 cash 啊！我自然100萬 cash， 我話點啊！
Despite the temptation, Chan discussed it with Lo Wei, owing to the gratitude and loyalty he felt for his current boss. Of course, Lo Wei advised him not to accept the offer. I just made you famous, and you want to run away? Chan returned the check as he was told. Later, Golden Harvest came back, stating that the $1 million was just a down payment and offered $2 million per film if Chan agreed to join them. This was beyond Chan's imagination. The hottest actors in Hong Kong at that time only got paid around 100,000 per film. A friend asked Jackie the question, "How much money you want for your lifetime?" Jackie spent a sleepless night and decided that 5 million Hong Kong dollars would be enough. But Jackie still underestimated himself. Golden Harvest and Shaw Brothers entered the brutal bidding war. Eventually, Golden offered 4.8 and Shaw offered 5 million, the exact amount Chan had thought of as his lifetime goal. At this point, Lo Wei was out of the picture. After much thought, considering his core demands for independence and the desire to become an international star, Jackie felt Golden Harvest would suit him better. Thus, he chose their offer of 4.8 million, a decision that later proved to be the right one, and began the era of Jackie Chan, the Become Dragon. After the children at the academy had practiced to a certain level, the master would often take them to perform Peking opera. They were present in various events across Hong Kong and even had the opportunity to perform in Japan, gaining a lot of performance experience at young age. The master remained as strict as ever. After each performance, he would ask who made mistakes, and those who did had to step forward, or else face more severe consequences. Even if you were not at fault, if you couldn't answer, you had to endure a few hits.
You think you're out of tune? Yes. Then why the didn't you say so?
During this time, young Jackie played various roles, both big and small, leading and supporting. And those naughty bastards on stage didn't forget to pull off some tricks. In a scene, young Jackie and Hong would exchange lines, with Hong singing, "I have a plan," to which Jackie would reply, "What is the plan?" Then Hong would whisper in Jackie's ear, "Eat shit." Each time the insult was different, and Jackie couldn't avoid this close-range attack, having to loudly respond afterward, "Good, that's what I will do." On the other hand, Since the master's daughter was a popular martial arts movie actress at that time, and the stunt performers also knew the master, these disciples had the experience of being on movie sets from a young age. Jackie started appearing in films around the age of 8 or 9, and thus began accumulating his film experience from that period. As time went on, Jackie reached the age of 14 or 15. He spent more and more time on movie sets. During that period, the martial arts scenes in Hong Kong films exploded in popularity. Just as dancing is essential in Indian films, fighting scenes were a must in Hong Kong movies. This demanded more skilled stunt performers, and Jackie was one of them. He would swing a sword in background, getting punched or kicked by the main character. Back then, the daily pay was 65 Hong Kong dollars, but the master would take 60, leaving only $5 for their pocket money. According to the contracts they had signed, even this $5 was considered a generous gift from the master. However, at the age of 15, they were already starting to be independent in society. This amount was insufficient, especially since Jackie had started dating. To see his girlfriend, he would lie to the master about going to the movie set, leaving the house at 6 a.m., wait under her apartment till 10 a.m., then sit together on a park bench, his arm around her shoulder for 5-6 hours. Too embarrassed to move even when his arms went numb. They would take a walk and have meals together. And he would return home at 10 p.m., having to take out $60 from his own savings to give to the master, pretending he had worked that day. The relationship between the master and disciples is indeed peculiar. As children, they feared the master, even fantasizing about beating him up when they grew up.
我有一天满师离开学校，找个机会回来就揍你，就知道师傅刻薄。可是你出去以后，在之后过几年完了，你想回来，我们师傅真的是太伟大。
The era was just like that. No matter which master you apprenticed under, in this line of work, it was always this tough. When the master passed away in 1997, Jackie Chan, who always prioritized his films, left the set of Who Am I, even at the risk of losing millions. He went to bid his master farewell. The master spent his life in Peking opera business, training countless disciples. However, personal efforts can't fight the change of times. The decline of Peking opera had become an unavoidable reality. The meticulous performance style could no longer keep up with the fast pace of life, and the audience for Peking opera dwindled, with theaters no longer staging performances. Most of the disciples didn't pursue a career in opera. Among them, Hong Jinbao saw things most clearly. When he left school, he told his junior brothers, "The era of opera is almost over. In the future, movies will be the real career. When I make a name for myself, come work with me." Not long after, Jackie Chan also left the school, throwing himself into the film industry. After signing with Golden Harvest, young Jackie Chan immediately soared, indulging in luxury cars, fashionable clothes, and designer watches.
10大名錶嗰7隻我買晒。
係自己帶定送俾人？
自己帶啊！日日就請晒自己身邊嗰班武師食飯，一食飯嘅手又着個背心嚟啦。咁啊，你知啊，你就咁樣，佢哋嗰陣時，哇大哥今日戴錶係咩？哦，咁啊俾你睇完咯，逐個睇。喂，聽日7點半同一時間啊，翻去換第二隻錶，第日。哎，又睇啊，係咩？你睇，聽日同一時間7點半又換一隻錶，日日就請食飯俾人睇錶。
睇錶 party。
The bosses gave him a great deal of freedom, without imposing strict budgets or production timelines. This led to the high quality of Jackie Chan's films. His first film with Golden Harvest, Young Master in Love, was a huge success. But it also fostered the habit of disregarding costs and delays. His second film, Dragon Lord, initially planned for shooting in South Korea, faced months of delays. Despite the freezing winter, they had to shoot summer scenes. pretending it was hot while shivering in the cold, trembling and saying, "Ah, it's so freaking hot!" Eventually, they abandoned the location, wasting months of expenses. But Golden Harvest bosses showed no displeasure and supported Chan unconditionally. This was a great motivation for him. Being grateful, he put his all into every film, not wanting to disappoint the expectation placed on him. Jackie is famously strict about his films, holding a world record for most retakes, striving for perfection regardless of cost. Meanwhile, Golden Harvest kept their promise to propel Chan into international fame, sending him to Hollywood. His first Hollywood film, The Protector, was directed by someone who had worked with Bruce Lee. However, the director's style didn't work well with Chan's improvisational approach. Plus, Chan's English was poor at that time, making it difficult to balance action and dialogue. The film did poorly at the box office. His next Hollywood venture, Cannonball Run, also faced challenges. Despite Golden Harvest's investment, Jackie was not taken seriously on set. The film underperformed at the box office as well. 3 years later, Chan tried Hollywood again with The Big Brawl, a film filled with profanity, nudity, and violence, which Chan disliked. The production process was unpleasant, and Chan was particularly unhappy with only 4 days allotted for action scenes. His second Hollywood attempt also failed, reinforcing his belief in staying true to his film style. During his early Hollywood days, Chan struggled with English and often avoided communication, sometimes even pretending to tie his shoes in the elevator to avoid conversations. It was during this time that he met Teresa Deng. Despite being two major Asian stars who had never met before, they often ran into each other in the US. They grew close, ice skating and learning English together, enjoying anonymous walks, which would never happen back home. However, Jackie's strong male ego and focus on his film career meant he didn't pay much attention to Deng. Even during rare private dinners, Chan would bring his friends along. Sometimes he deliberately ruined their dates because he hated anything fancy like French restaurants, rushing off to meetings, leaving Deng alone. When Deng visited him, Jackie wanted to maintain his dominant image in front of his friends, ignored her. Eventually, leading her to leave him a cassette of her song, singing "Give Me Back My Love" as a farewell.
冇嘢緊要過我事業嘅。如果有任何人妨礙我嘅事業，拜拜㗎啦。即係譬如好似鄧麗君咁，就係佢成日想我要二人世界啊。譬如去淨係我可唔可以淨係我兩個人食飯啊？冇可能嘅，我食飯一定係成班兄弟嘅。兄弟幫到我，佢幫到我咩啫？
Jackie's personal life, especially his affairs, has been widely criticized. He had been involved in scandals, including having an illegitimate child.
我做錯咗嘢，我做錯咗全世界好多男人都做錯咗嘅嘢。
Trying to justify his infidelity, which did not help his image. In China, Jackie is also nicknamed as Bedroom Dragon. As to his film career, despite his struggle in Hollywood, Jackie's base in Asia was flourishing. He developed a successful formula of global locations, spectacular action, and commercial comedy, leading to a new chapter in his films with soaring box office success.